Okay, who is going to lead us with the Namokar mantra today? How about Ashka, you and brother lead us in the Namokar mantra today? Who is going to lead us? That's me speaking. Okay, go ahead, beta.
Okay. Ihantanam Namo Sitanam Namo Irianam Namo Vasarinam Namo Visavasahunam Eso Pachamokaro Savapavapanaksha
Panashano Mangala Chasavese Atvam
Mangalam
Jai Jain बच्चों. Thank you for joining today on time. First of all, Uttam Shama, I couldn't do the lesson last time. I couldn't take the class. I had a last minute change of plan. We had a Jain picnic. And by the time I got home, it was a bit late and I got tied up in works. I had to fix dinner for kids and whatnot. So sorry for that. And that's exactly what where we are going to start today. We are going to cover the topics that we were supposed to cover last time. Okay. But before I do that, let me explain the background that I am having. Okay. I was telling Maulik about that. I am not at my usual spot. As you can see from my background, I am in the high country near Phoenix. It's spring break for my kids. The coming like you know the week from now until next week. So I took my kids to the north of Phoenix. It's a small city called Flagstaff, and we have a ski place out there. So while my kids are going to have fun, I'm going to probably do more reading. I'll have some quiet time. Probably I'll do some biking. I carried my bikes, my bicycles, and that's what I'll be doing around. And it's snowing outside. So not snowing, it did snow last night. So let me show you where I am, okay? And let me, if you can see the snow there. Can you see the snow? It's a beautiful day. So going to rain in the night. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, what is that? Okay, yeah, now it's better. Okay, better. Okay, so let me now share my screen. So if you want to Google the place. The place is called Flagstaff. It's on the railroad route from east to west. It's a very beautiful like city in Arizona, and you know just opposite to the popular perception about Arizona, that Arizona is all desert. We have lots of snow here, and this place is like hardly 2 hours drive from where I live, so not far. Like
Yeah, I've been there.
you've been there
Yeah, I
to
took a tour around Arizona.
Oh, nice,
My
nice. What
friend
did
lives in
you go?
Phoenix. My dad's friend lives in Phoenix, so we
Oh,
just went to
nice.
Flagstaff.
Maybe next time when you come here, Maulik, you should let me know. Okay, we'll meet. I'd like to meet
Oh
your
yeah,
parents as well.
oh yeah, sure, sure.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, Grand Canyon is like about 1 hour drive from where I am now.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's get to the lessons. Okay. So first and foremost, so we are going to cover two videos today. One is the video about Astmul Gun. Uh, any any guesses? What are the Astmul Gun? किसी को पता है अष्टमूल गुण कौन से होते हैं? नाम या idea about what are the Astmul Guns and what do they stand for? Basically Astmul Gun. Okay, so three parts to the word, है ना? Ast means eight. Letter eight in Sanskrit is Asht. Okay, Mool is fundamental, and Gun is uh, you can say virtues, or you could say vows, right? So the eight fundamental vows of a Jain layman is what is considered as Ashtmul Gun. Okay. What are the 8 fundamental uh, conducts that define a Jain layman? Right? Men or women doesn't matter, boy or girl doesn't matter. Okay. So those are the Ashtmul Gun. Okay. Now we are going to go through a short video about Ashtmul Gun. Let's start there. Let me share my screen. Okay, share sound, and here you go. Okay, so let's see. Uh, So here is the video on Ashtmul Gun. है ना? So 8 basic tenets of a layman or a householder are the what we are going to cover. Okay, now what are these 8 Ashtmul Gun? Any guesses? Do you remember, or can you tell me at least one of them before we start? Samyak, one thing that your parents or your grandparents ask you to follow being a Jain.
Don't eat onion and garlic.
Okay. One thing before that, one other thing which is more important not to do, which we don't do anyways, but just so that all Jains should not be doing it. Not eating. Eating what?
Meat.
Yes, नॉन वेजिटेरियन फूड है ना, तो वो एक अष्टमूल गुण आ जाता है. राइट. इसी तरह से नॉट ड्रिंकिंग, दैट्स एन अष्टमूल गुण है ना. देयर आर अ स्पेशल टाइप ऑफ फ्रूट्स that we should not be consuming. I think we did a video on that earlier, if you remember. Remember, did I show you a video on figs? Do you remember a video on figs?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So fig is one of those udambar phals. Right? Udambar phal is the category of phal or fruits that we should not be eating. Right, Kavya? So let's go through the video and then I'll take some pauses and explain things to you. Okay?
We will learn about Ashtamul Gun.
Is it audible?
Okay, I think all
Yeah.
of you must be knowing what is Ashta, right? We have learned it earlier. Ashta means 8. Mool is basic. Gun, tenets. So Ashtamul Gun are 8 basic tenets that should be practiced by an ideal householder daily.
Okay, guys.
Let's
very
learn
important for
first
you to
what
pay
are these
attention.
Ashtamul
Okay?
Gun.
Because what you
Stop
learn.
First is
Sorry, but
Yeah, I said it's still playing.
yeah, I did stop it. Very important for you all to pay attention because these 8 Mool Gun is what define a Jain. Right? So if you don't follow any of these Ashtmul Gun, you should strive to follow them. More importantly, you should take a vow not to ever, do these things. Okay? Make sense, Ashka, Vivan, Aviral, right? So very important. I'm going to ask you, Kavya, after the video. So you have to remember these 8 names. Okay? So let's go with them.
we should abstain ourselves from consuming madhya. Madhya means intoxicating substances. Second is we should abstain ourselves from consuming mas, that is non-vegetarian food. Third is we should abstain ourselves
So
from
first 3 are
consuming
very simple,
madhu,
right? 3
that
M's.
is honey.
Remember them as 3 M's. Madhya, right? Madhya is intoxicating substance of any kind. It could be alcohol, it could be cigarettes, it could be marijuana, it could be anything that causes intoxication or makes you go under influence of those substances. That's first, Madhya. Second is Mas. Mas is the Hindi name for non-vegetarian food, right? Meat and everything. That's Mas. So that's second M. The third M, which is very important for us to also remember, and that is Madhu. Madhu means honey. Right, Maulik? So,
Yeah.
Madhya, Mas, and Madhu. These are very important for us to avoid. Avoid means we should never be consuming them, right? So, how do you avoid Madhya? Very simple, right? You don't drink. Simple as that. You can take a vow and avoid drinking altogether, avoiding getting into bad habits like smoking and whatnot. Avoiding meat is equally easy, right? You can avoid every food that is made up of non-vegetarian food. Madhu is where it gets complicated because there are several, several restaurants and food items which consider Madhu as vegetarian, and that's why, like, what my kids do is they always check the ingredients whenever they are going to buy, let's say, a fruit bar or a energy bar, or at times there are these drinks, right? Those uh, lemonades and things. They always check the ingredients, and whenever they find that it has honey, they avoid it altogether. Right? There are so many alternatives, especially vegan food. When you go and check for vegan symbol on the bars, energy bars and fruit bars and whatnot, right? You would always find if it is vegan, that means it will for sure not have honey either. है ना? उसमें नॉन वेजिटेरियन इंग्रेडिएंट तो नहीं होते, साथ में हनी भी नहीं होता, right? So always look for those energy bars and those, even for example, cornflakes. There are so many cornflakes, like, breakfast items that have honey in them. You can totally avoid them, right? Because why we have to avoid them? You know what is honey, right? I think we saw a video on honey, right? How honey is produced. Honey is
No, not
basically,
really.
yeah, honey is basically I should not say that, but it is the excreta of the honeybee. It's the poop of honeybee. And not just its poop of honeybee actually lives in it. So its larvas and eggs and everything are laid in that same honey, right? So not only are you stealing honey from a honeybee, but you are actually eating her poop, and you are eating the substance that contains the eggs and larvas of honeybee. So think of it. You are not just destroying life of one honeybee, but so many honeybees which are like not yet born, who are in the eggs and larvas form, right? Also, you are stealing, right? So stealing is one of the mahapap. So we should not never be doing that, right? So it's very important. The three, repeat after me. The three names, the first three Ashmul Gunas are Madhya, Mans, and Madhu. ठीक है काव्या? Remember these, and we should make every effort to avoid them as much as possible. Especially in the packaged food, it's very easy. Check ingredients always. Like my kids, when they were 4 and 5, since that age, they have started checking the ingredients before eating anything. Right? You always have a choice. You have to exercise that choice. है ना सम्यक? Make sense? Cool. Let's keep going.
Fourth is abstain ourselves from consuming Panch Udambar Phal, that is, the fruits that contain moving living beings.
Right? So this is what I was telling you, figs, right? How figs are produced. For the growth of the fig fruit itself, there is one insect that actually goes inside that fruit. It gives up its wings. It goes inside the fruit, and then basically, helps in fertilizing that fruit. So when it fertilizes, it kind of produces lot many eggs inside the fig fruit. So not just that there are so many eggs, then the eggs grow up into more bugs, and they actually live inside the fig fruit. So it's very gross. If you see the video, if I have time, I'll play that video for you. But if you see that video, you'll be like, "Oh, this is the last thing I'm going to eat ever." So there are so many of such udambar phals. The category of such phal is called as udambar phal, katumar, bird, peeper. There are so many of those such fruits. I mean, most common in United States is figs. right? And there are fig ice creams and fig bars and everything. So ensure that you are not picking those up and eating them. Make sense? Make sense, Ashka? Make sense, Vivan? Right? Okay. So first four are simple: Madhya, Mans, Madhu, and Udambar Fal. Okay. And it looks like we have one more company joining us. Okay, good. Right timing. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's keep going. Uh, okay, Vikhyat is joining. I'll give it a moment. Vikhyat, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Jai Jinan, beta. Beta,
Jai
we
Jinan.
are, we are covering the 8 basic tenets or Astmul Guna today, and we are just on the first four. Okay. The first four items that we as a Jain should be avoiding at every cost are given here on the slide. The names are Madhya, that's alcohol or any kind of intoxicating substance; Mans, any kind of non-vegetarian substance; Madhu, which is honey, right? Avoiding honey, and then
What?
Udapal.
I can do honey. I despise it already.
Yes, I know. And we covered this earlier also, Vikyat. So I know you must be avoiding it altogether. Hai na? So this is sort of a repeat topic for us. I think once out of the course, out of the syllabus, we covered this topic earlier. So it's a sort of a repeat for you, but please be mindful of that. Also avoiding figs. So best case is whenever you are going to pick up any food item like energy bars, fruit bars, and whatnot, always check the ingredients. And if you have any sign of these four items, as a Jain, you should be avoiding them.
And is it true that Maggie is made with pig enzymes?
I am not very sure about that, Beta. I don't think so. Uh, Although we don't eat Maggie because it has onion and garlic, so we never get it. But because it has vegan tag on it, at least in India, I don't think it uses pig enzymes.
I mean,
But
there's like apparently my mom said that there's some myths and stuff. There's some stuff like that, and she's not stopping eating it. I said like throw it away because I didn't know. I just said throw it away.
you know what?
No, I mean, I really liked it at first, but I'm like, I mean, like without the stuff and all.
I see. And
But
that's a
now I'm
good
like,
thing. Of course. I think you should, if that is the case, see, in India, they cannot sell it for multiple reasons if it contain pig enzymes. Okay. So I would doubt it, but because I have not done my research on it. Anyways, I don't eat it. Right. So I'll have to Google it. Maybe next class, I'll come back and confirm it. How about that?
yeah, but regardless, I'm not eating it.
Perfectly fine
Regardless,
for you. Good. You'll
I mean,
survive.
because I normally eat it without anything or like without garlic or stuff like that. Wait,
No,
continue.
no. If you are doing that, awesome. Because you'll easily be fine not eating Maggie. There are so
Alright.
many other great things, है ना?
Mhm.
Okay. So good point, Khyat, but I'll Google it and come back. I doubt it though.
Like
I don't.
if it actually contained it, I'm never touching it again.
Yeah, sure. And you should not, because pig enzyme is like even a no-no for Muslims in India, right? So it's a
They chop off lamb's heads.
Yes, they do, but they don't eat pig. So if pig enzyme is there in Maggie, it would have raised lot of commotion in India altogether because Hindus don't eat it, Muslims don't eat it, Jains don't eat it. है ना?
They're
Having
more
said, having said that, that's not the topic we are covering today anyways. So I'll come back to you. How about that, Vikhyat?
okay.
Okay? Okay, so let's keep going on the video. So these four important thing for you guys is to remember the names. Okay? First is Madhya, which is alcohol or any kind of intoxicant. Mans, which is non-vegetarian food. Madhu, that's honey. And Udambar Fal, that's those fruits that contain moving living beings, like figs.
That's
Okay?
already.
Yes. Okay, let's keep going.
The fifth is we should abstain ourselves from eating after sunset. Sixth one is we should abstain ourselves from drinking unfiltered water. Seventh one is Panch Parmeshti Stavan or Dev Darshan. We should every day practice Dev Darshan. And finally, eighth, Jeev Daya. Jeev Daya means compassion towards all living being. Now, let's understand these Ashtamul Gun, the 8 basic tenets in
Understood this also, right? Abstaining from eating after sunset. Abstain
Ah.
from unfiltered water. Permit is puja. So if you cannot, wait a sec, beta. There is some disturbance. Give me a second. Okay. Panch Parameshti Stavan. The last one is Jeev Daya. Okay. Having empathy, having passion towards ends. Okay. So let's keep playing this.
in detail one by one. First is Madhya. What is Madhya? Madhya means any intoxicating substance that makes us lose control over our senses and leads to addiction. These intoxicating substances include alcohol, like liquor, wine, beer, cigarette, electronic cigarette, opium, also known as poppy seeds, cannabis, hookah, bhang, and cocaine. Now let's understand why should we abstain ourselves from drinking alcohol. Consumption of alcohol leads to first, thrust jeev hinsa, second, it's very unhealthy, third, it makes us lose control over ourselves, and finally fourth, addiction. Now let's understand how does thrust jeev hinsa happen while consuming alcohol. Alcohol is made by rotting and fermenting of fruits, wheat, and jaggery. The fermentation process gives birth to infinite microorganisms known as thrust jeev, and we already know what are these thrust jeev. And then finally, we commit sin by consuming these thrust jeevs. Second, how is it unhealthy? It's unhealthy as it damages our liver and also it causes nervous breakdown. Third, it makes us lose control over thoughts and actions. It destroys the wisdom and we behave weirdly. And finally, addiction. Addiction causes drain of wealth and eventually destroys family. And we definitely don't want all these to happen with us, right? Let's move to our next Ashtamul Gun, which is we should abstain ourselves from consuming non-veg. What is non-veg? Non-vegetarian food refers to food and substances which are derived from killing animals and are not plant-based. Non-vegetarian substances include meat, fish, egg, jelly. I know some of you must be wondering how egg is non-vegetarian. Fertilized egg contains a life in the form of a chick, and unfertilized eggs contain lots of thrust jeev. Hence, both are considered as non-vegetarian, and we should abstain ourselves from consuming these. Now, let's understand why should we abstain ourselves from eating non-veg. Consumption of non-veg substances leads to jeev hinsa, hence it is sinful. And how jeev hinsa is done from eating non-veg, let's understand that. Animals are butchered with extreme cruelty in slaughterhouses. Dead corpse is breeding ground for thrust jeevs. And cooked meat contains infinite thrust jeev. And we should not consume these thrust jeevs, right? Therefore, we should abstain ourselves from eating non-veg. Our next mool gun is
Any question, beta, so far? Make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay, let's keep going then.
we should abstain ourselves from consuming madhu, that is honey. Honey is formed from saliva of honeybees. Substances containing honey are honey syrups, which are used in making cakes and pastries, the cookies, which are sugar-free and honey-based, Ayurvedic and allopathic medicines, and finally the cosmetics. Let's understand why should we abstain ourselves from consuming honey. Extraction of honey causes jeev hinsa by dislocation and killing of bees. And honey is abhakshya, meaning bad to eat. It's impure. How is honey made? Let's understand that first. Honeybees suck nectar from flowers and store it in their mouth. Honey is deposited in beehive, and then finally extraction leads to dislocation of bees, larvae and eggs residing inside beehive and eventually kills them. And how is it habaksha? Inside beehive, honey plus its saliva and then bee excretion makes it impure honey, which we cannot consume. And so, we should abstain ourselves from consuming honey. Moving on to our next Moolgun, which is, we should abstain ourselves from consuming panch number fruits. What are these panch number or non-esculent fruits? These non-esculent fruit includes fruits of banyan tree, fruit of peepal or bodhi tree, fig or anjeer, kathumar, and cluster fig or umar. And the most commonly used udambar phal are figs of all kinds, and we should abstain ourselves from consuming those. Now, why are panch number fruit considered non-esculent? Panch number fruits are considered non-esculent or abhakshya on account of moving living organisms that reside within them. These panch number fruits are home to infinite trasjeev. If we break open these fruits along the midline, we can find infinite moving living organisms like wasps. And these organisms can't be fully removed. It is just impossible to remove them by drying or cutting. So if we consume these panch number fruit, definitely not want that. Our next Moolgun is, we should always drink filtered water. Filtered water is water that is free from microorganisms. I will tell you one very interesting fact about a single drop of water. Did you know, based on microscopic evidence, each drop of water contains 36,450 microorganisms. And according to Jain texts, it's even more than that. What will happen if we don't drink filtered water? It will lead to jeev hinsa and it will cause various waterborne diseases like cholera, botulism. So, we should always drink filtered water and avoid drinking unfiltered water. Now, let's understand the correct way to filter water. Our scriptures recommend filtering water through a thick cotton fabric cloth. Step 1 says, use a thick cotton cloth which is opaque. The dimensions of this cloth should be, length should be 1.5 times the breadth. Second step says, double fold the cloth and drain water through it. When we filter this water, then Jivani is done by turning the cloth upside down and pouring the filtered water on it. And this water can be collected in a pot or artificial pond in the backyard or balcony. This way, the jeev or organisms of the water are sent back to water and the jeev are saved. Simultaneously, we get the filtered water to drink. So, from this Moolgun, we can do jeev daya as well as get filtered water for ourselves to consume. Now, the duration for which filtered water is fit for consumption. If the water is at room temperature, it is fit for consumption for 48 minutes. If the water is lukewarm, it is fit for 6 hours to consume. And if the water is boiled, it is fit for 24 hours. So, we should definitely drink filtered water and abstain ourselves from drinking the unfiltered water.
Okay.
Our next
So you remember once I had showed you the experiment on how to filter the water with the cloth, the loin cloth, and it should not be colored. It should be white cotton, thick cloth. We do it double layered. I hope you remember that, right? So it's very important for that. These are all characteristics of Jains. In the old times, a person was known to be a Jain because they were practicing these things. There were all the non-Jains who were not even filtering the water. But we have been told by Maharaj one to always filter the water and drink. And that was the characteristic of Jains. I remember when my grandfather used to say he used to travel, and when he used to filter the water while traveling using this technique, people would recognize him very, very directly, like, oh, you are doing this because you are a Jain, right? And that's how Jains were identified in India, right? That they always drink water after, even let's say they're crossing through a stream of water, which may sound to be very pure. They would always use these clothes and filter the water and then drink it. And that's how they were identified. Oh, he is a Jain guy. That's what they are doing. है ना? So that's why it's very important. So next thing is avoiding the Ratri Bhojan, eating after sunset. Okay, so let's go there.
Goal is we should not do Ratri Bhojan. Ratri Bhojan means consuming food after sunset. Now, do you know by any chance why should we eat food before sunset? Okay, I'll tell you. It prevents Trasjeev Hinsa. In daylight, ultraviolet rays restrict growth of Trasjeev, and there are various health benefits. It is recommended by doctors and dietitians that food should ideally be consumed at least 3 hours before sleep, and it also helps in better digestion. Therefore, we should not eat bhojan. Moving on to our next mool gun, which is we should do Panch Parmeshti Stavan. I'm very sure that you must be knowing who are our Panch Parmeshtis, right? So, Panch Parmeshti Stavan means we should have faith, we should pray, and we should worship our Panch Parmeshtis. There are innumerable benefits of doing Panch Parmeshti Stavan. Some of them are: it makes us aware of our ultimate objective or true purpose of life. It energizes us to pursue the right path of liberation. It creates positive energy, and it diminishes impact of bad deeds committed in the past. So, we should do Panch Parmeshti Stavan. Finally, the last mool goal, Jeev Daya. What is Jeev Daya? Jeev Daya means compassion towards all living beings. It is the basic foundation for all religions. How can Jeev Daya be done? Jeev Daya can be done by feeding animals, giving them shelter, and helping them heal. And also by following the path shown by Lord Mahavir, that is, live and let live. So now, I hope we have understood the Ashtamul Gun. Let's revise them one by one. First is abstain from consumption of madhya, that is intoxicating substances. Second is abstain from consumption of mass, that is we should abstain ourselves from consuming non-vegetarian food. Third is abstain from consumption of madhu, that is honey. Fourth is abstain from consumption of Panch Nambar Phal, the fruits that contain moving living beings. The fifth is we should abstain from eating after sunset. Sixth is we should abstain from drinking unfiltered water. Seventh is we should do Panch Parmeshti Stavan or Dev Darshan. And finally, Jeev Daya, which is compassion for animals. So, let us all pledge to adopt these 8 values as an integral part of our daily life. Jai Jinendra!
Okay. So, Maulik, you have a question, right?
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
was I was just wondering, it said that for Jivdaya, you have to give animals shelter. So, but in Genesis, it also says that you shouldn't bring pets because
Great question.
you shouldn't handle it. So why? What should
Okay,
we do?
I'll tell you. So, what does Jainism say? It doesn't say we should not have pets. What it says is we should never have pets who are carnivorous, right? We should avoid having pets who are carnivorous, one. And second, we should not keep pets for leisure, right? If you are keeping a pet for, let's say, for some purpose, like, hey, milk and everything, that's a different story. But if you are keeping a pet, a puppy, just so that you can be cozy with that puppy, That's what you should be avoiding. Now, coming to that, giving shelter to animals doesn't mean you have to get them inside your house, right? What we rather should be doing is, support those goshalas where cows are kept, right? So you can fund for those goshala. If you get enough money, if you are a rich person, then you should establish your own goshalas. That should be your vow. That when I grow up and I become, I have lots of money, then I'll fund these initiatives. Okay, I think somebody's, I think Vikyat, you can go on mute because my voice is echoing. Thank you, beta. So it's very important for you that you provide for that shelter. But at the same time, if you try to say, hey, I just want this parrot, I will keep it in a cage and at my home. And only reason I want to keep that parrot is because it's such a beautiful bird and it can recite my name and says things like human beings. That's not a right cause. That's not showing compassion. That's like owning a slave, right? I think I had used that example earlier, right? That having a pet at home is as good as owning a slave, right? Now, if you don't want to own a slave, why would you want to have a pet at home? है ना? So that's what we should keep in mind. We should be very mindful on what is the purpose and intent why we are wanting to have a pet around us. Make sense? Okay.
So a goldfish is fine. Like if you just want to like care for it.
No, it's not. Because what is the natural habitat of a goldfish?
The ocean.
Ocean or a stream of water or a water lake or pond, right? That's where she can move freely. Now, if you keep a goldfish in your home, you would probably keep it inside a small vase, right? Or a small pot or a small aquarium. You are constraining the movement of that fish and you don't know the emotions of that fish, right? What if she wants to roam freely in the pond or lake where she was born, right? So it's very important for us to apply our discretion and show our compassion towards jeeves or towards other life forms. है ना? That's why we should be avoiding having these animals at our home. Another thing is if you keep them around, then your focus and attention will be diverted towards them, right? So that's also not like you could rather use that energy towards other things, right? Other causes of dharma and studies and whatnot. So anyways, so that was the answer for, did you, Maulik, you got your answer, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, beta. So now let me play another story. This is story of Gaj Kumar Muni. Gaj Kumar Muni was the younger brother of Shri Krishna. You know what is the relationship between Shri Krishna and Neminath Bhagwan? How many of you know the relationship between Neminath Bhagwan and Shri Krishna? Okay, do you guys know who is Shri Krishna at least?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So do you guys know who is Neminath Bhagwan?
Yeah.
Right, he is our Tirthankar. Can you tell me the number of Tirthankar Neminath?
Yeah.
What is his number? Bolo?
22nd.
Perfect. Good job. 22nd or 22वें Tirthankar, है ना? Neminath Bhagwan actually was a cousin of Shri Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay, he was a brother of Shri Krishna from his father's side, and Neminath Bhagwan has so much potential and power that Shri Krishna actually got a bit intimidated by his power, and driven by that intimidation, he ensured that Neminath Bhagwan is getting the nimitz so that he goes for Vairagya and become a Tirthankar. There is a big story around it for another day. Today, what we are going to focus on is story of another of their brother called Gaj Kumar Muni. Okay, and how did he attain moksha? Okay, so that's the focus of this small story. Let me play this story.
Jai Jinendra. There lived two brothers, Arham and Samyak. One day, while Samyak was watching TV,
Samyak, is that you? Okay, let's see. Do you have a brother by name Arham? Okay. I'm just kidding. I know you don't.
Arham rushed into his room to grab something. In this haste, Arham accidentally stepped on Samyak's feet. Samyak yelled at him at that very moment and said, "Can't you see and walk? You hurt me," and pushed Arham in anger. Very soon, both started fighting and started arguing, and neither of them was ready to stop. Hearing them fight, their mother rushed to them and advised them that they should not fight for petty matters. We need to have high tolerance levels to be strong. This will give us the courage to prepare and face bigger problems that may come in life. To explain this further, she told them a story of a Muni Raj. This is the story of Shri Krishna's younger brother Gaj Kumar. Shri Krishna loved his younger brother. Gaj Kumar was a very handsome man. His personality was such that everyone could not stop staring at him. When he grew up, he was engaged to many beautiful princesses. Shri Krishna had chosen a very beautiful bride for his brother. She was the daughter of Soma Seth. All the arrangements were going on for their wedding and everyone was very happy. Just then, the grand Samavsharan of Neminath Bhagwan came to Dwarka. Before becoming the 22nd Tirthankar, Neminath Bhagwan was Shri Krishna's brother. All the people of that town were extremely happy and knew that Neminath Bhagwan's preachings would benefit their soul. They headed towards the Samavsharan to pay their obeisance to Neminath Bhagwan. Seeing this, excited Gaj Kumar also sat in his chariot and went to worship Neminath Bhagwan. He bowed down with great respect in front of Neminath Bhagwan. There were 12 different areas in the Samavsharan for everyone to sit, which is called 12 Sabhaye. Along with Shri Krishna, Gaj Kumar also sat on the Manushya Sabha, which is the section where humans sat. Neminath Bhagwan was preaching about how to get rid of the cycle of life and death. And one can get rid of this cycle by obtaining Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan and Samyak Charitra. After that, Shri Krishna humbly requested Neminath Bhagwan to teach about the characteristics of Tirthankar, Chakravarti, Ardha Chakravarti, Balbhadra and Pratinarayan. Neminath Bhagwan preached for the welfare of all. Listening to Neminath Bhagwan's preachings, Gaj Kumar got inspired. He got scared of the cycle of life and death and wanted to free himself from it. He thought to himself that Neminath Bhagwan had come to show me the path of ultimate peace, moksha. He thought to himself that I am so engrossed in enjoying worldly pleasures that I didn't even try to attain moksha. He decided on embracing monkhood right away. With this thought, he immediately left all the worldly pleasures, his kingdom, his parents, and all his princesses and took Muni Diksha. News spread everywhere that Gaj Kumar had embraced monkhood. Even the princesses who were engaged to Gaj Kumar told their parents that they too had decided to dedicate their lives for the welfare of their soul and to attain the ultimate peace, moksha. And everyone took Arika Diksha, initiation. Among all the princesses was one princess whose father name was Soma Sethji, who became very angry and upset that his daughter was becoming a monk. One night, Gaj Kumar Muni was absorbed in the meditation. Soma Seth came there and thought, because of Gaj Kumar, my daughter became Arika. Now she has to go through a lot of pain and hardships. If he wanted to become a monk, why did he get engaged to my daughter? Let me teach a lesson to this Gaj Kumar. Angry Soma Seth tied a pack of soil on Muniraj's head and lit fire in it. In a few moments, Muniraj's head was burning and then his body started burning. Despite this, Gaj Kumar was calm and did not move an inch. He stood still like a mountain, engrossed in deep meditation of his soul. My soul is Chaitanyamay, meaning enlightened. I am a pure soul. My body is not me. Only the body is burning, not my soul. Body and soul are different from each other. They are separate entities. Like this, Muniraj engrossed himself in deep meditation, meaning dhyan, which is called Shukla Dhyan. And in this way, he destroyed all his karmas and attained Keval Gyan, the ultimate knowledge and moksha. So, did you all see how Gajmuni kept his calm and parity for the welfare of his soul? So, let's be patient and tolerant and move forward for the welfare of our soul. Jai Jinendra!
Make sense, beta? Soul and body are different. Very important message, है ना? And there happen so many situations when you get subjected to upsarg by other people. And that is the time when you have to bring your courage together and bring this thought to differentiate between soul and body, right? I mean, as a teenager, at times you are subjected to situations which are not very conducive and favorable, and you should not lose your hope and continue your focus, है ना? Never. You will, as you grow up, you will be subjected to several situations where people who are not Jains would try to discourage you from following Jain practices. And that time you should remember the story of Gaj Kumar, Muni Gaj Kumar, है ना? उन पे कितना उपसर्ग हुआ. His own relatives from his worldly life did these upsarg on him, persecuted him, but he never gave up his path. He decided that he wanted to become a Jain monk. He became a Jain monk, and then he did tap and tyag and followed that until he got Kevali Gyan. Right? Same way, we as a Jain, we may be a very small, minuscule minority, but we should always stay true to our own conviction and our own conduct, whatever may be the situation, है ना? And these are the stories that should give us courage and willpower, right, Kavya? Right? So as a teenager, and when you grow up, you go to college, you will have friends, you will have not so friendly kids, mean kids. They will do so many things to you, and you should never lose hope. As a Jain, you are already a celebrity, right? And being a celebrity and a person of who is so precious, right? Jains are so precious, and you should be proud of that always. Hannah, we all are unique. You all are unique. If you follow path of Jainism, that itself makes you stand tall and stand different from other kids. Hannah, make sense, Kavya? Okay. With that story, if we don't have any questions, then we'll end the session today with Javanika. Ishna?
जावानी के ज्ञान से सूझे जो वाणी मस्तक धरो तेहु सदा हे जनवाणी भारती माँ तो है जपो दिन रैन जो तेरी शरणा गए माँ सो पावे सुख चैन.
Jai Jinendra, Uttam Shama to all. Michhami Dukdam beta. See you
Jai
all.
Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra beta.
Legend.
Jai
Thank you.
Jinendra. Have fun. Bye.
Bye.